The Red Bull Ring's origins date back to 1969 when the Österreich Ring opened to replace the Zeltwig Airfield as host to the Austrian Grand Prix, an attempt to draw the Drivers' World Championship back to the country. That mission was successful just 1 year later, and the event became a staple of the series until 1987. The track was completely rebuilt in the mid-1990s and rechristened the A1 Ring, which enabled it to return to the circuit from 1997 to 2003. After a period of uncertainty that followed the demolition of the grandstands and pit buildings in 2004, circuit owner Red Bull began its reconstruction of the track in the late 2008 and gradually added both modern and vintage racing events over the years, culminating in the return of the Austrian Grand Prix in 2014. In 2020, with the COVID-19 forcing a rework of the schedule, the Red Bull Ring became the first circuit to ever host back-to-back rounds to open the Formula One season, as well as the first European venue to host the opening round of the season since 1966. Tonight, it's not Grand Prix racing, it's the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series, round number 2, and it's coming up next on HBR TV. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Red Bull Ring. I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV, joined in the broadcast booth by Zach Millett. What's going on, Zach?
Hey, Steve. How's it going, man?
It's going well. Thanks for popping in the booth here with us. It's certainly much better to do this with a two-man booth, especially with some road course racing. It's usually a pretty good race, but as things tend to do with road racing, you get a few guys out front that start to stretch out their lead, and the field gets all stretched out, and well, sometimes you need some things to talk about. So thanks for coming in and being a part of the broadcast here for as many races as possible this season.
Heck yeah, man. It's good to be here. You said road course racing. I'm here.
So 60-minute sprint race we've got, second race of the season. Again, we are at the Red Bull Ring in Austria. Track length 2.66 miles. Altitude, well, twos are wild, I guess. 2,222 feet above sea level. 75% humidity here today, 65 degrees. Qualifying already underway. Got a 15-minute open session, so all the cars will be on course at the same time. Terry Crouch was fastest in the practice session. In fact, let's take a look at those results. Crouch with TLDR Sim Sport, a minute 29.746. A very impressive lap for the 59. Won last week. Second place in the standings, Gaston Masroni with Virtuar Racing. It was only 0.3 off, which seems pretty close, but probably feels like an eternity to Gaston. Nick Ducato, I think that is a teammate, both out of Argentina. 37 hundredths of a second off that top time. So some close times are here. Even Dave Tamir up in the top 5. Randall White, 5th. Dave Seitz, Justin Wilkinson, Brett Crouch, James Vance, Andrew Locke to round out the top 10. Now, Zach, you've raced a lot of these guys. In fact, I think you took part in a handful of races in Season 1 as well as myself. Brett Crouch, I think, was one of your top contenders. What do you have to say about competing with him?
Man, I know he's super fast in these cars, man. He rips. I'm looking down through this live timing list right now, and it's just insane some of the names I see. Every fast guy I've ever seen on the road course is in here, so I can't wait to see how this turns out.
James Vance, of course, being one of them. James comes in with some legitimate IMSA background and some abilities there. Races an LMP3 car throughout the regular IMSA sports car series. Tries his hand here in the GT3 cars. Certainly going to be a contender. It's not as fast as he would be probably in an LMP2. We saw that in the LSR sports car series last season. Last week had a good run going. I guess he had a pit strategy issue. I don't know if he didn't get fuel in it or it failed to take tires or one thing or the other. Nevertheless, I think he ended up in a wreck very soon after that. And just, well, I don't want to break his chops. Kind of rage quit, which I don't know. We all get there. If you're not in contention for the win, and that's how James is. He's just a competitor. He wants to win races, and if you can't, well, bye.
And absolutely, I mean, if you're doing well in the race and something like a pit stop screws you over, it's the worst feeling. I mean, it's hard not to rage quit.
Absolutely. We've all been there. And Crouch fastest in qualifying so far, minute 29.602. Got qualifying mode turned on here. The bottom of your screen shows various drivers throughout the racing surface right now. No particular order. Of course, Terry Crouch there, then Chris Goins, James Vance. Green is good. Purple is better.
Absolutely, purple is key.
Now you see those colors there in the bottom. One's orange, one's green, one's orange. Those indicate what sector has what times, so to speak. So if you see one sector go purple over another, that means that's the fastest versus a previous sector for the fastest time on the track. So we've got a couple of people in the stream chat already. Chris Harvey, Brett Osborne, of course that S4 guy. Nobody knows
I know that guy.
That might be Zach Millett.
Maybe.
Let's see. And Haley once again from Sweden checking in, saying hello. Appreciate you watching, Haley. All these races, you're here all the time. You're like a #1 fan here. If you haven't already done it, follow us over on Facebook too. Love to get you over on that side of things. Again, the streaming happens over here, but sometimes we'll get some posts over on the Facebook side that might be of interest to any race fans out there.
Steve, I think you got to send a T-shirt out there to Haley least.
I gotta make T-shirts first.
Yeah, do some T-shirts, stickers.
Yeah.
Maybe a koozie.
Get it through customs.
Yeah, it might be a while. If you send it now, she might get it next year.
Terry Crouch involved with another vehicle on track. Luckily for sim racing, you can just quickly reset back to pit lane. Current top two, it's the Crouch brothers, even though they're not related.
Brothers from another mother.
Haley says, I want a T-shirt. Thanks a lot, Zach. Now I got to make T-shirts.
You're welcome.
So, yes, Terry Crouch and Brack Crouch. I'll be honest, I've never heard the last name Crouch prior to being involved in this. And now there's two of them, and again, they are not related at all. They're both pretty quick. Paul L. in the stream chat. Evening, folks. Go Brack. Guys, again, don't hesitate. Jump into stream chat. Say hello. Who you rooting for? Where are you watching from? I'm glad I asked that question because we found out all kinds of cool stuff about where some people are watching the races from. Let us know. 15-minute session of qualifying here, about 8 and almost 9 minutes in. Terry Crouch still fastest. Again, Terry was the winner last week at Road America.
I think that was Terry's first lap when he hit that 29, wasn't it?
It might have been.
Pretty good start.
So this is the first opportunity I think we've actually had, Zach, to have you up in the booth post iRacing Daytona 24. And just to let everybody know, Millett likes road course racing as long as he's in a NASCAR truck. And
yeah,
it's like pulling teeth to get this guy to turn laps before the race weekend. But all in all, we got all 24 hours in. I think we brought it home in the podium, P3. It's myself, it was you. It's Kevin Burrows and Terry Crouch. And I think we had one more, didn't we? We had Brett Kuzik from Season 1, the GT3 Series. I'm actually surprised he's not running here tonight.
Yeah, we're a pretty good team. Everybody had pretty close to the same pace.
Yeah, pace-wise, we were all pretty spot on. It took me some time to adjust. We had a little snafu with the setup itself, but we got there eventually. But the biggest point of this is at the end of it all, I think we Made Millen a GT3 fan.
Yeah, it definitely helped. Usually when you do 24 hours of something, it kind of turns you.
You better learn to like it, yeah.
I really didn't want anything to do with Daytona for at least 3 weeks.
I think I've had one race since then. That was it. And it wasn't at Daytona. It was the ARCA car at the Glen.
I think that turned out pretty good.
Paul L. in the stream chat. He's watching from Scotland, nearly 2 a.m. Awesome. Thanks for chiming in. We've got 2 international viewers tonight.
Man, that's cool. That is awesome.
About 5 minutes remain in the session. It says there's 11 in, but obviously everyone's going to be able to take a lap. As long as they get to the green, or the start-finish line, that is, before we eclipse 15 minutes. Terry Crouch still your fastest. Brad Crouch, P2. Pretty significant distance back from that fast time Terry threw down. That's just incredible. Gotta wonder how much traffic really has to do with all that.
Yeah, especially with multi-cars on the track for qualifying. You really got to get out on track as quick as you can. Of course, draft could play a role too.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's 2 significant straightaways here. You could almost say there's 3 straightaways. I mean, there really is. You've got the main straightaway, then you got exit at turn 1 all the way down to 3. And then I guess you could call it a short shoot from 3 to 4. It's not perfectly straight, but yeah, absolutely. Slipstream draft going to come into play. And that may have been the case. But again, we've got a bunch of cars in here tonight. Over 30, which is kind of what we expected. That's kind of why we've gone with a 15-minute qualifying session open. Give some guys the chance to get out there and turn some laps. Hopefully try and get that time locked in before traffic gets too busy. Because you may have some guys that may opt not to come out right away. Maybe say, oh, let's look at track temperatures and see what happens. Right now, track temp's actually pretty cool. 80 degrees. 75% humidity still up there. 65-degree ambient, though. That's going to make some power. Chris Pyle running that Ford GT.
Well, that's cool. You don't see very many of those.
Well, yes, it's categorized as GT3, but I just don't think it's got the same pace. Chris Pyle is usually pretty quick. He's about 18th on the board right now. Leo Tucker may have gone off track there. Yes, it was. Oh, that was close.
Close call. Yeah, it's nice to see all the different cars and not just be like a BMW dealership here.
Yeah, well, I mean, it really kind of still is. It was like that last week. I think more than 2/3 of the field was running the BMW. Terry Crouch was one of them. He switched to the McLaren as that was allowable within the rules up until the end of this race. I don't know if they're allowed to jump back to their original car, if they choose to do so, or if they're stuck with this one now. They were able to make one change. And interestingly enough, that was James Vance that almost got in the back of Leo Tucker there. Kevin Blue in the stream chat says, stuck with it now. All right, good to know. So anybody that's running their car right now, that's what they're ending up with the rest of the season, or they're going to forfeit some points.
Well, it's pretty cool to see a McLaren on top of the board.
Since the GT3 update that iRacing had, it really has awakened some of the cars that guys just didn't like to run. I mean, it's cool. Yeah, there's flames that pop out the back of the thing, but it wasn't all that fast in comparison to the rest of the cars that were in the sim. Even with the BOP, it just wasn't what most people went to. But I did hear a lot of guys, especially throughout Daytona, talking about, oh, this car seems a little bit faster, and, this, that, and the other thing. And even through officials since then, the McLaren has not been bad. And it really doesn't mean that it's so much better than everything else. It's just kind of even the playing field across all of the makes and manufacturers. So it's really good to see. But does seem that BMW might have a slight advantage still. Because we do have 15 Beamers.
Is it that many? That's a good-looking car, too, you know?
Out of the 31 cars in the field. So 15 BMW. 6 Lamborghini. 2 Ferrari. 1 McLaren. And ironically, it's top of the board. 1 Merc. Oh, 3 Mercs. Qualifying session officially over. Drivers able to finish up their laps. So Terry Crouch looks like when this goes official, he's going to have a lightning lap, minute 29.602.
That's a great lap. It's over half a second faster than his not brother.
Yeah, he's got 6.5 tenths. And it was a lot closer in practice. It was 3 tenths back to Gaston. Mascheroni ended up sitting P3. We'll get to our starting grid here in just a moment. Everyone has cleared the racetrack. Getting ready to see our starting grid. In fact, we're ready for it right now. Let's take a look. Terry Crouch on the pole with a time of 1 minute, 29 seconds, .602 with TLDR Sim Sport. It's Terry Crouch. His outside, it's his brother from another mother with RPM Racing. It's Brack Crouch. Row number 2, Gaston Mascheroni in the 3rd spot. Then it's Dave Seats, Limitless Motorsports, starting in the 4th position. Starting 5th, it's James Vance out of Canada, number 87 BMW with Nick Ciccato out of Argentina, starting 6th. Alexis Mandrakia will start in the 7th position. Sean Roberts will start 8th. Randall White starts P9. Dave Tamira, he starts from the 10th spot. Andrew Locke out of New York State will roll from 11th. 12th goes to Chris Pio. Josh Lucas in 13th. Andy Spicer 14th. Drew Blaze with Lonestar Racing will start 15th with Matt Sisler starting 16th. Kevin Blue, Lonestar Racing number 54, starts 17th with Mike Piazza, not the catcher, will start 18th. 19th, Daniel Clark. 20th, Brandon Domain. Yep, that's how you say it. Alfredo Tricarici will start 21st. Chris Goins, 22nd. Greg Olenek, 23rd. Robert King, 24th. Dave Coburn, 25th. Colin Johnston will start 26th. 27th goes to Justin T. Wilkinson. And Leo Tucker, 28th. Corey Deal, 29th. Travis Martin, 30th. And Bill Molfeld will roll from the 31st position. Your starting grid here at the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series from the Red Bull Ring. Race number 2 about to get underway. So Britt Osborne just chimes in here in the stream chat, says, I'm eager to see how much the EOL penalty affects the outcome. EOL being the end of line penalty that's going to be given, well, to Terry Crouch, our pole sitter. He's going to have to drop to the tail.
Interesting. Very interesting. I was just going to bring that up right before you did, too. That's going to be interesting.
And ironically, Kevin Blue says, Zach is too scared to race.
I'd be way in the back, man. I'd be way back there.
Well, you and Terry were similar pace at Daytona. I don't see why it wouldn't be the case here, but...
Well, you know, I don't think I've even taken any kind of car around this track. I have the track, but I've never tried it.
It's a fun place. It really is. You should get the truck out here first, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Maybe an ARCA car? Yeah.
ARCA Euro Series.
I like the sound of that.
They're on a shortened parade lap here. It's not giving Terry a whole lot of time to get to the back, so we'll see what happens. So Brack Crouch, the other Crouch, he's going to take the green flag, and he's off and running already. We're underway.
Green flag.
Looks like everybody's clean through turn number 1. Somebody off track in behind, not sure who that was, maybe Nick Ciccato. Indeed it is. Some drivers taking evasive maneuvers to go around. I think James Vance or Andrew Locke may have been the other driver that got off track trying to avoid. No bent metal here. I think everybody got through relatively clean, but James Vance looking to the outside of the Ford GT. This now through
like
turns 5
there.
and 6. Net code with Nick Ciccato.
Yeah, I think so. I saw the car trying to rejoin the track, and there was some blinking back there. So hopefully everybody's connection kind of stays on point.
We have seen James Vance have connection issues here and there throughout his iRacing career. And Ciccato's on the tear. He's going to be a fast driver to watch out here as he's back in the pack through that off track. He's going to have to battle to get back through. Again, a 1-hour race. It's going to be a sprint all the way through with one pit stop to worry about. Haley stuck around for the start and then went to bed. She says it's 3 a.m. and she's got to work in the morning. Good night, everyone. Well, good night, Haley. Thanks for at least stopping in. Good battle here for position. Just a trio of BMWs. Ciccato looking, trying to make it 3 wide. Thinks better of it. This down into turn number 3, technically. They call that little kink in the back of the straightaway a turn. I don't know why. Chris Goins looks like he's had an issue on track. Let's see what happened here with the 28. Down into the braking zone. This is with Nick Ciccato, or is this at the... No, this wasn't the green. Oh, connection issue. You're exactly right, Zach. That was Ciccato in front of Chris Goins. He lost connection.
That's all you can do if you're Chris, too, because you don't know if he's going to reappear, like, you know, where it's too late and you can't get on the brakes.
Another issue. Nick Ciccato again in trouble. All kinds of names. James Vance off the track. We got big trouble here. Big time wreck.
That's expensive.
James Vance involved. Some guy's already back to the pit lane trying to catch this as it's still unfolding. Guys are trying to get back onto the racetrack.
Boy, there's a lot of busy tow trucks after that one.
Stay under the green flag. That was a big one. Let's see if we can get a look at it. First, let's go to Nick Ciccato's incident. This one might have stacked everybody up here. And we're on the replay. The BMW, the white-nosed BMW, red stripe, gets into the back. Oh, big time. The TLD or SimSport machine gets into Ciccato, sends those guys around. I don't know if this is the same wreck or not.
Oh,
no,
I think it's the wreck that just never stopped. It just kept going.
Looked like Leo Tucker. Actually, that might have been Andy Spicer, so let's look at this. This is Apex Tech Racing Ferrari. Oh, gets to the inside of Vance. Just they make door-to-door contact. Vance, I think it was, continues on. You can tell it was Vance or Locke without seeing the numbers. It's the same paint scheme. But yeah, they all just pile right in. There's a yellow flag waving in the corner, guys. You got to check up. Back live, James Vance still on the track. Let's try to get a look, see what kind of damage he has, if any. Left side looks pretty good. That's where he had contact with the other car. I mean, James lost a bunch of track position here, but I think he's going to be okay.
Yeah, that's the experience talking for you. You know, he's going to slow down, lose the track position, but knows he has a whole car to come back. He's got plenty of time.
That's just the key. I mean, we're only 5 minutes in. You see somebody else off track in front of him. He goes on by. But if he just... Next guy to him is Corey Deal. He's 5 seconds ahead. That's the Lamborghini. Simrapmarket.com. But if he just slowly takes his time to catch up to Corey Deal, there's another 7 seconds after he gets by Corey. You can let these guys spread out. He might be able to run some quicker lap times sooner than if he got stuck in that traffic that he got involved with that incident in. Meanwhile, teammate Gaston Masroni is taking over the top spot from Brack Crouch. We missed that through all the crashes we saw. I'm going to try and see if we can go back and find it. No promises, because there's a lot going on here. And I did find it. Here it is. Pass for the lead. Masroni. Actually, looks like Brack just gave him the spot, and Masroni chased him down for the slipstream. Didn't realize it right away, but he takes the spot with ease as Brack just lets him go. Brack has been known to save fuel throughout these races and try to really wait till the very last minute to take on his pit stop. Last week, definitely did not opt to take tires. Again, only an hour race. If we were running 2 endurance race stints, then yeah, he probably wouldn't double stint the tires, but he's going to make his first stop tonight, probably around 45 minutes in. Only leaving with 15 to go, so he can suffer the poor handling race car for about 15 minutes and call it a day.
That's something you taught me too, Steve, is to run the car out of gas as much as possible instead of pitting early, because you're only going to get faster when you're lighter weight.
You know, it's hit and miss. It depends on the setup, too. A lot of times that would hold true if you're running a low downforce setup. We're running the fixed high downforce setup here, so you also have to keep in mind that as the fuel burns off, yes, the car gets lighter. Yes, you can brake a little bit later and get on the power faster and all that. But because of the light fuel, that rear wing is a little bit taller in the air, and it's going to pick up a little bit more. Yes, you have more downforce, but you also have more drag. So sometimes, and it doesn't apply everywhere, depending on the racetrack, you may actually be at a disadvantage on light fuel. Just depends on the setup and where you're at. And I say run it all the way to the end because I'm just not smart enough to calculate any kind of fancy fuel strategy. So,
God, you and me both. I've lost so many races because of that.
So Jesse Redding in the stream chat says Goins is going to be the hard charger for sure. Let's see. Chris Goins currently running 17th. He's off track. I think Jesse Redding just pulled a Tristan Sykes on Chris Goins. It's Chris Goins. He's up 4 spots. He started 22nd. Chris not necessarily known for his road racing, but he's certainly no slouch at it. Starting 22nd, he has a lot of positions to gain.
Hey, Chris always brings out the good-looking cars, doesn't he?
Well, Chris does his own paints as well, and he tends to have pretty good-looking schemes, that's for sure. I gotta say, the Lamborghini sounds the best, I think, out of everything out there.
Oh, yeah.
At least as far as accuracy goes. Zach, I don't
every
know
time it's coming at the camera, though, all I can see is like an old Chevy pickup with a light bar in the middle of the grill coming at you. I can't get over it.
Gaston Masroni out in front now, 2 seconds over Brack Crouch. Now, again, we're only 9 minutes in here, and it may be premature to even talk about this, but Gaston, not an English-speaking driver. He's out of Argentina. We've had some conversations with him through chat, utilizing Google Translate the best that we can. So if he does get into the interview, he's going to try and come up and give his interview. I'm going to fail miserably trying to speak a very small amount of Spanish so that he can just talk afterwards. But he will give his interview in Spanish, so his friends and family and whoever else is out there watching can listen into the interview. Just because you don't speak English doesn't mean you can't have the interview, so we're going to take care of him in that respect regardless. Makes me wish I paid more attention in high school.
Yeah, we did French for where I'm at, and I mean, it was cool for a year, and I've already forgot pretty much all of it.
Well, you're like, what, 20 minutes off the border?
Yeah, yeah.
So again, Gaston out in front. He might be checking up a little bit here. He's down to 1.6 seconds. I don't know if he's picked up or slowed down his pace or if Brack has picked up his. Kevin Blue off track. Let's see what happened here with the 54. So far, I don't see anything.
Look pretty clean.
Yep, no issues there. Sometimes it'll pop up and it'll say that, but. So Britt Osborne, he chimes in. Wants us to check on Terry Crouch. Remember, Terry had to go to the tail end of the field here. Drop at the green flag. His win penalty is the Ferrari, I think. Chris Pyle? No. It's going to be Andy Spicer, I think, off track. But he had to go to the tail of the field as Eowell's win penalty for last week at Road America serves that here at Red Bull. He's already up into the top 10. Now, he's got to lay down some laps because he's got 22 seconds to make up on the leader Gaston Masroni if he's going to come out and contend for a win. He may have an opportunity to crack the top 3, but I just don't see him catching Gaston without a mistake or some kind of crazy issue with pit lane. It's not to say Terry's doesn't have the pace, but Terry's fastest lap is at 29.98. Masroni's at 30.44. It's a half a second between them with 48 minutes to go. I just don't see it.
Yeah, that's pretty tough to do. I mean, 29's in traffic too, so he's got a little bit more pace, but boy, yeah, it's going to be tough.
Well, I mean, we talked about that too in practice and qualifying too. Is he's in traffic, which means he may have caught a slipstream at the right opportunity too. We don't really know. It's looking at the last lap time, it was a 30.02 to Masroni's 0.78, so there's a little bit more, about 3/4 of a second there. Pit stops will have a lot to do with it. If Terry Crouch gets on pit lane, anything like Zach Millett does, he may gain some time there.
Now, first thing is turn that ABS right off. You don't need that.
Well, if you're going to keep the tires on, you do. You don't want to lock them up. Terry looking to the outside now. I think that's the Ford GT. Matt Sisler. Sisler running the Spaceballs paint scheme.
It's awesome.
So Terry Crouch up into P9, 13 minutes. That's all it took. But again, the closer and closer you get towards the front, the harder and harder the spots become to take. Begin to take, become to take. I don't know what I'm talking about.
Close enough. It's going to happen quick on this one, though.
Well, he's got Kevin Blue. Kevin, I got to admit, even if you're faster, he's hard to get by. He doesn't give you an inch. Especially if you're both on a lead lap and it's for position, he's not going to lay down. He was going to try and get him on the outside into one, but thought about a crossover here on the exit.
Beautiful.
Like I was telling you, Kevin's not easy to get around.
Yeah, I think as soon as Kevin took that defensive line, Terry is planning that crossover on exit.
Oh, do they make contact? They rub doors, it seemed. That was close. Now you'll see Terry take the elevator to the lobby and check out. So Terry Crouch up to P8. Next on his list, it's Drew Blaze, about 4 seconds up ahead. Drew Blaze, more of an oval guy, and to be serious about it, more of a dirt oval guy. Just doesn't really like that scene so much here in iRacing. Tends to be a little toxic, but has some pretty good success over on the asphalt side of things. But also not too shabby on road. He's running in the 7th spot. He's up 8 positions from qualifying, so having a decent day. Sean Roberts running in the 4th spot, number 66, out there sporting the Porsche. Remember, Sean was running the LMP2 in the Sports Car Series last season. Showed some pace at many of the racetracks, Daytona especially, but just could not catch a break. It's a victim of bad luck on so many different occasions. But so far, so good this season. Granted, only 2 races in.
Well, I know we covered the Lamborghini is probably one of the best sounding cars, but that Porsche, that is just one of the best looking cars there is.
Yeah, I mean, the Porsche's got a, I would say, personally, I think the Porsche is second in the sound department. Not by much, but accuracy, the Lambo's got it. I mean, I watched these guys, the Super Trofeo Series run down at the Glen IMSA weekend in June, and I'm telling you, it sounds exactly the same.
I can't wait to go back.
Matt Sisler running 11th in that 4GT, having a good day considering, I mean, honestly, technologically, he's in an old car. I almost wish that they would allow the GTE version of the 4GT to come over here and run, maybe like a detuned version of it, maybe do it a BOP, but just don't foresee it happening. It's not really a car that's in production anymore.
It's a shame, though.
You know, for me being an anti-Ford guy, it really is a shame, though. It's a cool car, especially in this naturally aspirated version. You know, the EcoBoost version that they run in GTE, that's pretty cool, too. But talk about sound, that Burley V8 mixed in with all these European engines, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, slow car. Not sure who that was. Josh Lucas, maybe? Greg Olnick down pit lane. This is unscheduled. Chris Goins had a moment as well. Let's see if this is a legitimate off track or if he just went over the line a little bit. Oh, just over the line. Really setting up his wide entry to that corner, though. I'm sure it benefits. Now, that might have been what Kevin Blue did early on, because if I remember correctly, it was the same spot that he got his. They do not have incidents turned on. They get a warning every 15, but no penalty. So really, there's no incentive to not kind of go out of bounds as long as you're not getting the slowdown. Oh, car spinning, and Chris Goins gets a piece of it. Chris Goins and Leo Tucker, hard impact. We saw it happen live right in front of the pit, so the both drivers are going to be able to get down pit lane for repairs. They do have a fast repair to use if needed, but man, they did not want to see that. Now with this, I gotta wonder, this actually could work out. If Goins gets down here, gets the fast repair, and tops off the tank, he might be good to the end. I don't know, but we gotta go back and look at that in a minute here. But Goins, and it looks like Leo Tucker come together. Tucker went off the track first. Let's get a look at that. Real time here, just gets in loose. I don't know if that's too much rear brake or what happened. Again, they're running the high downforce setup. Hard to imagine the car getting oversteery in that part of the track. Yeah, I made that word up.
Really good heads up by him to just continue right into pit lane instead of trying to stay out, though. Get that fast repair done and, you know, just get the work done and get back out.
And more news, Terry Crouch in pit lane, as was Kevin Blue. Both drivers having an issue on track as well. Let's see what I can find here. Nothing showing it. Oh, very similar incident we just saw with Leo Tucker and Chris Goins. It was Drew Blaze and Terry Crouch. Then Kevin Blue comes in and just drills Drew in the door. But again, Terry's down pit lane here. This happened right at the entrance.
Now, are they going to get a penalty for that, Steve? For an unsafe entrance?
They might. Let's check this again here. I'm going to back this up a little bit further. I think Drew actually went off the track first. Yeah, Drew just got loose on exit. Little oversteer on power. You see Terry just dirt tracking it, trying to avoid because he sees him get crossed up, but Drew tries to save it, comes across the track, and just barely gets a piece of Terry Crouch.
Might be some BMW oil in that track or something in that corner.
And then let's wait for Kevin Blue to come pile driving in here.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Driver's side. Yep. LSR on LSR. That hurts right there. Well, it's got to be some serious damage, too.
Yeah, for those two, definitely. I think Terry's going to be okay. His damage is going to be relatively light. It's just a matter of, does he have enough fuel to make it to the end? I'm going to ride on board here with Terry. See what it looked like from inside his McLaren. Oh, okay. So Drew just turned in too early and tried to correct it, and then it kind of tank slapped the rear of the car. And I don't know if Terry just got loose on his own or if that was him just reacting to Drew. Should have just stood on the brakes, but unfortunately he kind of stays in it a little bit.
Oof. Big contact.
I know hindsight's 20/20, but maybe you want to back up there instead of pulling over to the exit of the corner.
Relative is your friend.
Yes, indeed, and it's so easy. We've seen so many guys do it. It happens.
I mean, you're just trying to get out of the way at that point, you know?
Ultimately, I mean, we saw Drew. I mean, that's what he was doing. He was trying to move.
Yep.
Gaston Masseroni still out in the lead, 3.3 seconds over Brad Crouch. Then it's Dave Seats, Sean Roberts, Justin T. Wilkinson, Dave Tamiro's P6, Matt Sisler 7, Josh Lucas, Chris Pio, and Daniel Clark, the top 10. We're going to jump out of the break here. Be back shortly. Stay with us. We'll go side by side so you don't miss a thing. We'll be right back.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
The great thing about youth sports, they give young people an opportunity to participate in something that is going to broaden them as people.
I think it's very amazing that Garza Law Firm has made a commitment to help the youth kids with playing different sports.
Guys like Marcos Garza that put their time into being able to help these kids live out a dream, it's made me who I am today.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Red Bull Ring in Austria, race number 2, the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Gaston Masroni, still your race leader. Brad Crouch, Dave Seats, the balance in the top 3. We got a fan for Alexis in the stream chat. Now, that means that I can ask, is it Mandrakia? Am I saying that right? Hopefully I get a quick response here. A lot of new names that I'm unfamiliar with. I had to get some clarification on a bunch, like Brandon Domain. I thought it was Domingue, but it's Domain. Robert King having an issue on track. Maybe. That's the Mercedes. Did he just run wide? He's racing with Drew Blaze. Late on the brakes, has to lock it down. He gives up a few spots because of it. So to follow up on the issues that we saw pre-commercial break, that was Drew Blaze, Kevin Blue, and Terry Crouch. Terry Crouch officially 1 lap down, 22nd. Kevin Blue 1 lap down, 21st. Check where Drew Blaze has ended up. He is 18th. Also 1 lap down.
There's a lot of heavy hitters kind of buried in the field now.
Well, yeah, and you think about it too, but you look at the top 9 cars, they have not pit yet. Now, obviously, you can pit, get fuel, and get on the road and go. Ironically, and I don't want to give away trade secrets here, but last week at Road America, Terry Crouch's pit strategy, and I won't say too much about it, but he said he didn't take 4 tires, but he didn't take 2 either.
Interesting.
But he didn't say anything about 1 or 3. So knowing Terry, he's a very analytical mind when it comes to these cars. He'll look at tire temperatures and tire wear throughout the course of multiple runs, which I'm sure he did throughout the week just to get ready for the event, which is why he's usually so fast. But if it found that 1 tire wore worse than the others, I don't see any reason why he wouldn't just change that tire. Or 3. Leave 1 off, because it all matters time-wise. You factor in how long it takes to put fuel in these cars and tires. Again, the new update, they put tires in the same time as fuel, but there is a little bit of overlap. Again, the 70% fuel load in these cars means less fuel is going to get put in, so it's a shorter stop when it's just fuel. So there's still that mindset of, well, maybe I don't need tires. I mean, what was your feeling in Daytona, Zach? I mean, could you get away with running 2 stints on 1 set? Was it that difficult later on in the run? Or do you think we could have gone double stints?
I think we probably could have stretched it to a double stint, but man, I don't know. The timing was just so close, with the 100% fuel. Do you remember how many seconds extra it was to finish off the tire stop?
Well, see, that's the thing. At Daytona, we're all on full fuel on the endurance setup. So the time it takes to put fuel in it, you're done changing tires before they're done with the fuel. So there's no advantage to do it there. But on a pure handling stance, if you left them off, would it really have hurt you that bad at the end of that second run?
I really don't think so. I think you know, the old Mercedes that we were running. The being a little loose is kind of fun in that car. You feel quicker. I think the only difference would have been getting off some of those turns, you know, the exit.
Yeah, especially with that car, trying to put the power down and tires get a little wore out. I guess it would depend on time of day, too. That was the biggest thing that I noticed personally, was as the sun started to come back up, track temperature got hot, handling went away.
Yeah, I was pretty happy I got some of those night stints. That was really fun.
Just past halfway, 31 minutes, 45 seconds down. 28:10 to go. Car spun, and the kitty litter is going to continue on. Dave Tamira having a solid run, up in the 6th position, up 4 spots. Josh Lucas just ahead of him in the BMW as well. Meanwhile, Dave Tamira down pit lane for his scheduled stop, first of the day and last. Keep the eyes on Dave here and see if he ends up taking tires. The jacks go up on the BMW. And it does. Fast repair and tires for Dave Tamira. We'll see if this really helps him throughout the course of the next 27 minutes and change. So that leaves us the top 7 drivers still left to come down pit lane, get their scheduled service on the afternoon. Top 7, Gaston Masroni, Brett Crouch, Dave Seats, Sean Roberts, Josh Lucas, Matt Sisler, Chris Pio, Nick Ciccato. Right now, Matt Sisler, biggest mover in the top 10. He's up 10 spots. Biggest mover overall is actually Travis Martin in the Lamborghini. He's up 16 positions. Cloud cover rolling in, track temperature coming down, air temperature still 65 degrees, humidity 76. Track temperature, though, it's about 10 degrees cooler than it was. Some of these guys opt for tires, that you may see some really quick lap times pretty soon, but you also might see guys say, you know what, it's cooler out, I'm not going to take tires. Cody Dean in the stream chat. Is NRN covering this? This is great announcing. Cody, thanks for the kind words, man. Just myself and Zach.
Name coming up.
What's that?
Keep seeing that James Vance name bouncing up that list. Every time I glance up at that thing, he's moving north. He's picking it up.
James Vance running in the 9th position. Again, had issues early on. I think it was 1 lap, and he was getting into traffic and bouncing off other drivers, getting off the track. Net code issues. But as we talked, to get some clean racetrack out in front of him, he's able to turn some laps and get moving. His best lap so far, 1:30.67. It's not quite the pace of Gaston Masroni to 29.97, but it'll hunt. He's working his way back up through in the 9th spot. He's got Mike Piazza, though, in behind, putting on the challenge. That Audi's certainly good on the brakes. Was able to close the gap considerably on Vance.
Well, it's a good-looking car with that red and chrome wheels.
Wonder why you think that.
Little biased, maybe, just a little biased.
Vance, though, able to pick up the pace through the rhythm section, able to pull off about 3, 4, 5 car lengths back to the Audi. And it's another 11 seconds to Nick Ciccato. Nick is going to have some pace, so I don't know if James really has enough time to reel him in. It's about 24 minutes and change before we call this race official.
Just like real life, Steve, driving around in the Audi watching all your BMW friends get smaller in the windshield. I hate to say it, but...
Battle for the 7th spot, Chris Pio, Nick Ciccato. Nick looks to the inside. able to hold the bottom of the corner, drive out. Drag race down the straightaway. Down into turn 4, another right-hander. Ciccato takes the spot, move Chris Pyle back to the 8th position. Now remember, Ciccato had his issues early on in the race, right off the bat. Don't know if it was connection related or what have you, but either way, he ended up in the grass, lost a lot of track position, had to really kind of battle his way out of wrecking that car. Kept it clean, kept it going. Very similar situation. In fact, that was the James Vance incident as well. He got off track trying to avoid contact with the 2. Zach, I don't know if you're in the stream chat, but Cody Dean goes, 25 years from now, Dirty Mo Media will be doing a feature about Steve Singer.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we can only hope, right?
Hey, that's why I have you on my spoiler already.
Yeah, right. If you don't chew Big Red,
Then you know the rest.
So Nick Ciccato back in the 7th spot. Gaston Masroni still leads this, teammate to Nick Ciccato. Both drivers out of Argentina. Alfredo Tricarici running in the 29th spot. In fact, no longer running, off the track. Other team car. Josh Lucas running in P5. Andy Spicer. And Ciccato already closing in now on another Mercedes. We'll watch this battle develop. This is down through Power Horse, turn 6, now down straight into turn 7. Man, Cicato's got some pace. I don't know if he took tires when he stopped or what, but he is flying. Lose him for a second. Oh, there he is. Last couple of corners. I was telling you before the broadcast, Zach, those 2 corners, the last 2 on the track, 9 and 10, they look pretty straightforward, but man, to be quick through there, it's tough.
It looks it. It looks like you really got to carry the momentum through there to have a decent lap time.
Well, it's funny because it almost seems the slower you go through there, the less the car wants to handle, which does kind of make sense with these high downforce setups. But as you slow down, you lose that advantage. The faster you go, the better it's going to stick. But then it all comes down to how much tire life you got left. Tristan Sykes in here giggling. Fahey's not even in the race.
Yeah, that was just in advance.
So Nick Ciccato moves himself into P5. Meanwhile, Sean Roberts from P3, he's down pit lane in the Porsche.
Well, it's been a great race for Sean so far.
Yeah, Sean's no slouch on the road courses. We saw that, again, the last season in the LMP2 car that he was running. He just had a lot of bad luck. Fast repair burned on the Porsche. Still fuel only, though. Quick stop. 17.43 seconds. So yeah, with this particular setup and pitting when he has about 19 minutes to go, certainly a track position gain by taking fuel only. So that's going to move Matt Sisler into P3 in the Ford. You know, I talked a little trash on that Ford early on, but here he sits in the 3rd spot, in position for a podium. He does still need to pit, but so do the top 2. And in fact, the top 2 are doing it right now. Masroni and Crouch, Brack that is, down pit lane for their stop, the first and only stop of the day.
You know, I like this play by Brack too, because I've been watching the last few laps and he's been closing in on on Gaston a little bit. I mean, they kind of go back and forth a few times, but it looks like he's getting some pace.
Interesting, Brack's taking tires here.
This would be a perfect comparison.
Yeah, and there goes Gaston Masroni. He's down and away with fuel only. So, okay, 1.7 seconds, essentially, between tires and not.
Oh man, it's hard to say without seeing what's left on the tire wear, but
18
I mean,
minutes
boy.
to go. I don't know, man. But here's the advantage: if Brack can get heat in that tire quick, he's still in second spot. So he really didn't have anything to lose by trying this. It's just going to be a matter: can he close down that gap in the right amount of time to be with Gaston Masroni in the closing minutes of this race?
Right.
I mean, raw pace alone, Gaston was a 29.97, where Brack was a 30.34, about 4/10 or so between the two of them. But will that tire advantage make the difference? We're going to have to see. So, Masroni, Crouch, Brack, and Matt Sisler, your top three. Nick Ciccato is in fourth. Now, he pitted lap 4, so I think Cicato's still going to have to stop. He might need a quick splash and go. We'll see what happens. But speaking of a pit stop or a break or what have you, we're going to jump out and go HBR TV side by side once again. We'll be back with the conclusion of race number 2 from Red Bull Ring. Stay with us.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Helps to turn the mic back on. Welcome back to Red Bull Ring from Austria, race number 2, the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Gaston Masroni from P3 currently leads and has pretty much all day. Pole sitter Terry Crouch, the end of line penalty at the start. That's his punishment for winning last week at Road America. Didn't seem to be hurting him too bad. He was up into the top 10 when an incident involving himself, Drew Blaze, and then eventually Kevin Blue really hurt the chances of all three of these drivers. Jerry Crouch running in the 17th spot, still one lap down. Looks like Terry's made 2 pit stops. So yeah, with that, Zach, I don't think the time of that incident was within the fuel window, so he kind of got boned on that big time.
It's just terrible timing, you know, what can you do?
Terry Crouch closing in on one of the Argentine BMWs. I can't tell if that's Gaston. That is actually the 2 machine. That's Nick Ducato. Get Nick up into the 3rd spot.
Terry's out there running. I think he's the fastest car on track right now.
He is. In fact, fastest lap here since the pit stop, 1:29.81. Leader's best lap, 1:29.97.
There might have been a Mercedes pointing the wrong way there. I just glanced at the wrong time.
Possibly Dave Coburn. Dave Coburn out of New York, ironically.
All right.
Seen a lot of this. This again, you know what? This rings a bell to me, actually. We almost saw him get clipped pretty hard, but that part of the racetrack in season 1 at Red Bull Ring, I did that a bunch of times, ironically in the Mercedes as well, but we were just talking about it before the break, how you got to run fast through that section of corners just to keep the downforce on the rear wing. And I think guys are kind of tapping the brake, which is doing 2 things. It's slowing the car, but it's also unloading the rear tires, putting all that weight transfer to the front. It's very easy to lose the car when that happens. Terry Crouch, though, he's not giving up. Cleared him. Cleared him because Ducato came to pit lane.
I didn't think he cleared him by that much.
Yeah, I was like, where'd he go? Nick Ducato down pit lane for his final stop of the day here. 10 minutes, 30 seconds remaining in the race. Unfortunate stop for Ducato. He was off cycle due to an earlier incident, but here he is trying to take some fuel, just get to the finish here. Short stop, 10.82 seconds, but certainly going to hurt him here. Of course, under the green flag still, 10 seconds is an eternity. Top 3 now, Gaston Masroni, Brad Crouch, Dave Seats. Then it's Sean Roberts and Alexis Madrakia in the P5. Nick Ducato after his stop in the 6th position. Then it's Dave Tamira, Justin Wilkinson, Brandon Domain. Yep, that's how it's pronounced. And then 10th position is Matt Sisler. Mike Piazza is 11th. James Vance up into P12. And Vance having a couple issues throughout this race. One right away on that lap 1, and then some contact later on throughout the race. Certainly not helping things for number 87 machine. Gaston Masroni in a little bit of lap traffic. It's gone by Drew Blaze. Next on the hit list looks to be, and of course there's no number on the door. It's not Chris Pyle. Daniel, no. I guess I'm done guessing. It's Lucas, Josh Lucas, the BMW. 2 BMWs, 3 here. That battle between Drew Blaze and Lucas. Not sure if that's for position. I don't believe that it is. or is it? Drew Blaze 13th, Lucas 14th. I think they are on the same lap. That is a battle for position. Josh Lucas, Drew Blaze swapping it back and forth right now. Blaze way down to the inside the corner, makes the pass. Drew Blaze has got the wipers on. And Zach, I don't know if you noticed, he's got a Corvette logo on the windshield of that BMW.
Did notice that. I was going to say it's the weirdest looking Corvette I've ever seen.
Drew Blaze, the BMW Corvette with the OnlyFans sponsorship.
Beautiful.
We all got to make money somehow. And I don't know if you knew this or not, but I mean, OnlyFans isn't just for doing the dirty. There's some legitimate OnlyFans pages out there that, you know, do woodworking and automotive and things like that.
There's OnlyFans pages for like wood art and stuff like that.
I don't think they make any money, but yeah, they're there.
Say, I mean, probably not quite the same following, you know.
Drew Blaze certainly trying to help him out a little bit. Throw him on that BMW, Corvette, whatever you want to call it.
C9 enhanced.
Cody Dean is just as shocked as I was.
Hey. Yeah, I'm not going to be the one to, you know, search that right now or anything, admittedly.
So through the cycle of pit stops, I'm pretty sure everyone has made their final stop of the day. Seems that lap 12 was the earliest you were able to stop and still make it to the finish, and Drew Blaze goes off the racetrack. Slides into the kitty litter. It's going to come back on and rejoin. Certainly going to lose that spot to Josh Lucas, but also to Chris Pio. It's going to move Drew Blaze back to P15. Drew Blaze coming to pit road. Don't know if this is going to be it for number 1 BMW. Of course, I didn't see when Drew Blaze pit last, or if he even has. 54 minutes on the board, 6 to go.
The old BMW Corvette liquor is quicker is actually taking some tires.
So Gaston Masroni still out in front here in the number 3 Virtuar Racing BMW. Nick Cicano now into P2. Or is he? Nope, that's just his number. P6. Got me excited for a minute there. Dave Seats in the Mercedes. Dave having a good run. Mercedes seems to be running decent here tonight. I know Robert King, Dave Kober not having the best of luck, but Dave Seats in that top 3. Started 4th. Consistent, if anything else. Checking on James Vance once again. Still battling off the Audi of Mike Piazza, not the catcher. I think the Mets are still paying Mike Piazza, aren't they?
I don't know. Hopefully.
Four and a half minutes remain. Gaston still with a 6.8 second lead over Brad Crouch. Ooh, a little mistake by Vance. Opens the door. The Audi to the inside. Josh, Mike Piazza for that matter, taking that position away from Vance. Vance battling back down low. Forced Piazza wide. Very quick pass and repass by James Vance.
Boy, Steve, I feel like this race has just flown by. We're approaching the 57th minute already.
Well, when you think about it, you still have 24-hour endurance race stuck in your head.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
that
is
is for sure.
This is just a hair above a stint.
I'm looking forward to the Watkins Glen. I guess that should be just a walk in the park.
Yeah, that's going to be a blast. I'm certainly looking forward to it myself. I figure me, you, and Terry, if he's available, I'd like to get the three of us together and run the 6 hour. Of course, that is the week before the actual 6 hours of the Glen coming up in June.
Sounds like a perfect 2 weeks to me then.
Oh, yeah. So Vance doing a good job of maintaining that position. Of course, made a small mistake, gave it up for about a corner or two, but quickly retook the position back. Runs in the 11th spot, about 7 seconds behind Matt Sisler. Hopefully, he's got to hope for Matt Sisler to make a mistake here. Otherwise, Sisler's going to end up with that 10th place position with that Spaceballs paint scheme.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't see Sis Money making very many mistakes. He's pretty consistent. What did it say?
We break for nobody.
That's beautiful.
Closest battle on track really is Vance and Piazza still. Crouch with a 6.8 second gap that he's going to have to make up here in, well, less than 2 minutes. We'll see it happen. Cody Dean up on the baseball trivia says it's Bobby Bonilla. I think Bobby's still getting paid for sure. It's funny how the Super Bowl ends and all of a sudden we start talking baseball and racing.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah, same.
Totally okay with that.
Bill Molfeld on track, the Garza Law Firm entry. Ferrari running the 24th spot. Started 31st. Taking care of things here. Anytime you finish higher than where you start, consider that a good day.
Absolutely.
Gaston Masroni through turn 7 and now 8. Runs a little wide, goes through the kitty litter. Must have heard us talking about him. I don't believe we've seen the white flag as of yet. We may have. Take a look here as Gaston works the final couple corners. There it is, white flag waves, final lap for Gaston Masroni. Crosses the stripe, 59 minutes, 38 seconds. Masroni started in P3, had a little more pace in practice than he did in qualifying. Knew that Terry Crouch was going to be one of his stiffest competitors, but Crouch had to go to the rear on the initial start. Again, an end-of-line penalty for his win at Road America last week. Opened the door for Gaston, and Brad Crouch really just gave him that position. Let him go by, didn't want to contest it. Brack being smart about his racing, his racecraft. Trying to pick up points where he can. No sense in wrecking two cars just because you were too greedy to try and finish second. Crouch still running about 6.2 seconds behind while Masroni works his way down into the right-hander turns 9 and 10. Yoke and Rint, they call it. Final turn. Checkered flag waves. Gaston Masroni is your race winner from Red Bull. Terry Crouch fights back to P14. Brack Crouch will finish P2. Dave Seats Off turn 10, sees the checkered flag as well. P3 for Dave Seats. So, again, as we talked early on, Gaston Masroni, non-English speaking driver, doesn't mean he can't come up for an interview. I'm going to butcher the Spanish, but he's going to give his interview in Spanish, and then we're going to let him fly. But stick with us. I'm sure he's got friends and family out there watching. Want to give him his due, the well-earned race win. And then we'll go to Brad Crouch and Dave Seats. But we're going to step aside here, get a break out of the way, hopefully have all three of our top three finishers here after this. Stay with us.
I would definitely recommend the Garza Law Firm to all my family and friends because I know how he's treated me. I have been playing basketball ever since I can remember. I just finished my 6-year career playing for the University of Tennessee. I feel like we're both striving to be better every day. He's always responded quickly and has always come through with whatever he said that he's going to do. The Garza Law Firm is definitely somebody you want on your team.
The Garza Law Firm. Let us help.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Red Bull Ring, race number 2, Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Gaston Masroni, your winner here this afternoon, this evening, wherever you're watching from. Again, we're going to go to Gaston. We're going to try and butcher some Spanish and try to get some communication lines formed here. I'm doing the best I can, but we'll pull Gaston up in here and we'll have him give his interview and we'll go to the rest of our top 3. So, Gaston, felicidades, Gaston. Cuéntanos sobre tu carrera.
Hola, buenas noches. Muchas gracias. La verdad que muy linda, muy desgastante y la verdad que muy limpia. Los chicos, los conductores, los pilotos se han portado muy pero muy bien, así que agradezco a Kevin y a toda la organización por esta carrera.
Gaston, Denata, good luck next week. Thanks for talking to us.
Gracias, muy amable. Saludo a todos. Abrazo. Hasta la próxima.
Well, it went better than I thought it would. It was short but sweet. Glad we can get him up here into the broadcast booth. That's a big bonus. Nerve-wracking on my end, but glad we could do it. Brad Crouch is going to be next. Our second place finisher. We'll pull him into the booth. Bracket Steve and Zach in the broadcast booth. You got a solid copy? Brad Crouch, you're breaking up. Want to try again?
Sorry, chat going. Do you got me now?
Got you loud and clear, Brad. Congratulations on a second place finish here tonight. Started outside front row. Well, technically, I think it was. I think it effectively gave you the pole position when Terry Crouch had to drop to the rear for his EOL penalty. You led some laps, but quickly yielded the position to Gaston. Walk us through that decision. Was it just a matter of points, or just knowing that he had a little bit more pace?
No, I would have rather have stayed in front of him, but I got to slow down out of that last corner.
Oh no.
So I had to get out of his way, and then he just kept kind of chipping away, pulling away from me. So,
well, either way, a solid finish nonetheless. Here, Red Bull Ring is visually it looks pretty straightforward, but it is somewhat technical. A lot of high-speed straightaways, some heavy braking. Walk us through your strategies for tonight. Was it about taking tires, not taking tires? We did see some guys opt to, and some opt not. What was your plan?
well, mostly survival. This track is tough, and the fixed setup that we were running it was pretty skatey. So I did take some tires to see if I could to get back a little bit of life, and I did for a couple laps, but then they went off pretty quick also. So
we did see the time difference really between tires and not, at least between yourself and Gaston, because you guys did pit at the same time, was about 1.7 seconds. You still finished, I think it was about 6 seconds in the rear view from Gaston. I mean, we all kind of expected a little bit of an increase or decrease, that is, for lap times with the fresher rubber, but how long would it last? Was it worth the time lost in the pit lane? How is that going to apply next week down at Interlagos?
Probably very similar, just because it's similar to this track. Pretty windy, generally fairly warm. So I could see the tires going off pretty quick on those. So I was just messing around with the tire strategy. I wouldn't say it worked. I wouldn't say it didn't work.
Brad Crouch,
sort of on the fence still.
Keeping the strategy close to the vest, or just undecided, one or the other. Not willing to give away too much. You've got plenty of pace out here, man. Hopefully you can get the strategy dialed in for next week down in Brazil. Again, congratulations on P2. We're going to let you go. Who do you want to shout out to?
Well, again, you guys, having the broadcast has been great. LSR for putting it on, and my teammates at RPM.
All right, Breck. Again, congratulations. Thanks for talking to us. Good luck next week.
Alrighty, thank you.
Brad Crouch, your second place finisher. Next, we're going to go to Dave Seats, our third place finisher. Bring him up into the broadcast booth and get a word with the driver of the number 14 Mercedes. Dave, it's Steve and Zach in the booth. You got us?
I do.
Dave, congratulations, man. Started fourth, brought it home with a podium, making that Mercedes look pretty sharp out there. It's personally my favorite car to run out here in GT3. Tell us about your race, the strategies you had coming in. Did you stick to them? Did you change it up? Tires, no tires? Talk about it.
Yeah, it wasn't a bad race. I feel bad about the T3 incident on lap 1. I got the late call that James was on the inside, tried to give him room, and the cold tires got up on the curb and spun a little bit. And tried to catch it, but I caught him a little bit, so I'll have to go and apologize to him on that one. But yeah, I didn't really have a strategy going in, just trying to stay clean because this track is brutal on off tracks. Trying to get around, lap traffic as clean as possible. Was super conservative, didn't take any tires, just try to keep them good till the end. Then Merck's pretty good on tires as it is, so Yeah, overall, I think it was a pretty decent race. Just trying to maintain and bring something other than a BMW up into the podium here. Because again, Merc's my car. Like I drove the BMW because after my testing, like this set, the BMW is really the only car that goes around Bathurst. But it's like I'm not gonna pick one car for the whole season because of one track. I'll just, I'll get around the best I can, but I want to have fun. I need that V8 under me.
So I assume you're going to stick with the Merc the rest of the season, though?
Indeed.
Glad to hear it. It's the car that I ran in season 1. I ended up doing really well at the end of that season, won the overall championship, but decided, I'm going to jump up here in the booth because, well, Kevin's got a whole lot more faster guys in here than I was used to. So good luck to you going on the rest of the season. Next week we go to Interlagos. I'll be honest, I have to buy the track for the broadcast. I haven't turned a single lap at that place. I don't know if you have, but what are your thoughts rolling down into Brazil next week?
It's going to be a struggle bus in the Merc. The low diff settings on this set, it's a lot of low speed traction events, so do the best we can, but, we'll take this full send graphics, mismatch gaming Mercedes as far up as we can.
Well, David, didn't even need to ask you to do it, but congratulations on P3. Is there anybody else you want to shout out to?
Just my, my team, Limitless Motorsports. They're, hanging in there with me. I got a spotter that's watching me and helping out with the pitch strategy and stuff like that. So, thanks to the guys on the team, and then, like I said, my sponsors, Mishmash Gaming and Full Send Graphics.
All right, Dave. Again, thanks for talking to us. Congratulations on a podium here at Red Bull Ring, and good luck next week down at Interlagos.
Thank you, guys. Have a good one.
Dave Seats, your third place finisher here from Red Bull Ring. That's going to about wrap it up here for us. We'll go through our official race results here, walk through that. Of course, we got our top 3 out of the way. Gaston Masroni, Brett Crouch, Dave Seats. Then it was Sean Roberts with a strong run. Alexis Mandrakia, she had some fanfare in the stream chat. Finished P5. Nick Kakato was 6th. David Tamira was 7th. Justin Wilkinson 8th. Brandon Domain was 9th. Matt Sisler brought it home in the 10th position. 11th went to James Vance. Not the finish he wanted. Probably not the finish he would have had after some early race issues and then some. Mike Piazza was 12th. Chris Pyle 13th. Terry Crouch, after his struggles, also finished P14th, which starting last, I guess, isn't terrible. I'm sure he'll take it with a grain of salt next week and go full send at Interlagos. Josh Lucas was 15th. Daniel Clark was 16th. Travis Martin 17th. Kevin Blue, after his incident with Drew Blaze and Terry Crouch, was 18th. Colin Johnston 19th. Robert King was P20. 21st, Dave Coburn. Corey Deal 22nd. Bill Mulfeld was 23rd. Drew Blaze P24. Andy Spicer was 25th. Lee O. Tucker 26th. Andy Locke, tough night for Andrew, finished P27. Chris Goins 28th. Alfredo Trancarachi was 29th, still working on the name there. Greg Olnick was 30th, and Randall White, 38 laps down, 31st with TLDR Simsport. Early race issues for Randall White. Such your race results, guys. If you haven't already done so, please like, follow, share, and subscribe. YouTube.com/@symbol, the letters HBR TV and the number 1. That's where you can catch all the live streams here at HBR TV. Also, please do the same over at Facebook.com/HBR TV and the number 1 for some various posts. Again, we don't do a ton throughout the week. We're not going to blow up your notifications. We try to get the stream links up there as well. Maybe a few posts here and there, racing related, sometimes not, but check us out. We certainly do appreciate those follows and shares. It helps expand this to a little bit wider of an audience and helps get more eyeballs on the sport in general. So we can appreciate you guys doing that. Zach, what do you think about this race here? I know it was your first broadcast booth race here with the Lonestar Racing GT3 Series. Like myself, we're not driving this time, so tell us about where you stand and where we look at going into Interlagos next week.
Man, I tell you, it's kind of great just to sit back and watch the race instead of, sometimes being in it. It's great to just kick back and enjoy it and watch the strategies unfold how they do. But
Said no race driver ever.
Yeah, But I think Brack hit the nail on the head when he said it was kind of a survival thing. You make it through, the first quarter or even half the race. Keep every corner on your car. You're gonna have a pretty good chance to stay out front there. And boy, those guys are fast. It was fun watching them rip around this place.
certainly good racetrack. It's a fun place. It's fast. I had fun watching it. Again, it's not a track I'm super familiar with, but I don't know. One race that I ran here, it was a blast to do it, and it was fun to watch here tonight. So Interlago certainly going to be its own animal next week. That's got to be an interesting one. We got to work on some cameras and all kinds of fun stuff, but we'll be ready for it. You guys tune in next week for it. Again, 8:45 in the East here on HBR TV. Again, YouTube.com/@HBR TV and the number 1. Join us for it. Should have Zach Millett here in booth as long as he doesn't have to work, but certainly myself, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, everybody. For Zach Millett, I'm Steve Singer with HBR TV. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.